I was sitting in front of a small amber screen with my family watching the first man walk on the moon. I looked over at my father and asked him, what type of job do I have to get to do something like that? And my father told me engineers made that happen. And so I started working for NASA on the space program back in 1987. What I did in my career was quite exciting. What I learned through engineering was most of the stuff I worked on, people said weren't real, it can't happen. And I took that as a challenge to do the impossible. But I didn't feel the fulfillment of life. I didn't know what the purpose was. So I retired from work. There was a lot of turmoil and anxiety going on in life. I would walk down to the pier on a fairly regular basis. And I started to talk to God as I knew him, and never heard anything. And then in March of this year, I had wandered down to the beach and was sitting out at the end of the pier, and 4 small children walked up to me out of the blue and asked me if I would like them to pray for me. And when they got done, they looked at me, and the little girl asked me if I'd like to take Jesus into my heart. And I said yes. I cried from one end of the pier to the other because I just had this feeling that I had heard the voice of God. From that point on, I started to become more engaged in trying to understand what it was he was saying to me. I started to go to church. I was hearing the message. I had been involved in a Rooted group, and so one of the big takeaways from my Rooted journey was the community that the church had. And I felt I was gaining that through this group of men that I was spending time with every week. And as I became more and more involved in the church, my wife and I have tried to expose my children to that. I find the fact that Jesus died on the cross and did what he did in his short life is an amazing gift. I don't think it's ever too late to say yes to Jesus. My career has had many highlights, but when I look back, the fulfillment was short-lived. Things you hang on the wall, they don't live with you, whereas a life with Jesus goes on forever.